back in the day, even 10 years ago, horror-themed magazines, they were a huge part, especially during the early 80s, early to late 80s. They really had a huge part, but even before that, we'd have to thank, like, what is it? Tales from the Crypt comics, that stuff really helped, but Famous Monsters, big time. Forrest Ackerman, I think, really broke the ice, broke that barrier to show people behind the scenes stuff, and you didn't have to be a horror fan to enjoy what the magazine was about.
I started Malevolent Magazine because I noticed that there were no other publications that actually focused on the indie horror scene. I was looking for material for the first issue, and it was pretty apparent that the filmmakers, the actors, the actresses, and the genre were very excited to get that kind of exposure.
And indie anything in the horror scene is where you're going to find the innovators, the people, you know, the next big thing, basically, of any pretty much genre. So, like, you know, smaller bands, you know, that's where you can find, you know, the people that have heart for everything. Heart for the you know, movies, heart for music, anything when it comes to indies. That's where you find most of the people that are innovating, trying new things. Same thing with magazines, you know. That's how I want it to be. I want it to be, you know, we're an indie magazine where we can try different things like having a coffin-shaped issue or, you know, doing special edition covers, kind of like how, you know, comic books did, that sort of thing. So I want to keep pushing that. And that's the reason why, you know, indie horror is so important, is because that's where we're going to have the new, you know, George Romero, that sort of thing. That's where these big people are, that's where the push is going to be, to have, you know, more interesting horror as opposed to all the remakes and, you know, all that sort of thing that just keeps getting pumped out. And you're going to find all the good stuff in the horror base, the indie horror base. Okay.
Not to get too long-winded on that conversation, but basically I think the time has come and gone for horror magazines. There was a time horror magazines meant a lot to horror films, the genre, independent filmmakers itself, but I think these days they don't serve the purpose of the fans as much as they like to think so. I mean, technology has, especially in the past decade, has really made magazines obsolete these days.
A major difference in the indie horror community today compared to, say, 20 years ago is the birth of the digital revolution. Today's filmmakers, they have the tools at their fingertips with social media to get their film out to people looking for these new horror projects.
It's really important that that these people have an outlet for their art. There's some great stuff out there, and, you know, it's horror communities like Beneath the Underground, Extreme Horror Cinema, some of the magazines out there, you know, Monstrosity Magazine and what have you, that put an effort into showing some of these movies, getting them onto film, getting them known, getting them reviewed. And that's what it's all about, everybody helping each other. Indie horror's never going to die.
To all of those aspiring filmmakers out there, pick up a camera. You can do it. You can make a movie. I believe in you. You know why? Because I did it. And I have movies that sell all over the world. And I'm just some handsome schmuck.